Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Over here, some new floor that I put in, some laminate floor. What was here before was this, like, tile had a lot of cement, and this terracotta tile gets really cold in the winter. It pulls a lot of cold from the ground, and redid all that, pulled it all out. It's been looking like crap for the last year or so because I haven't finished it. And way over there in the hallway, I decided to put some black carpeting. And the reason why I'm showing you this video is because, see that little canister over there? It's basically just some tile glue that somebody gave me. Because this laminate flooring, it tells you not to glue it down, but I've had to on this project because we can see here, right here is where I'm working on, and so I'm gonna take this apart and I'll show you what's going on underneath it, because I have to do it anyways, because I got everything pretty much all cut up. I had to do all these custom cuts myself, so this is not down yet. All this needs to be cleaned up. And right here, when I cut across here, I put a little bit of a tongue right here on the bottom, and it'll groove. It goes underneath that groove right there. And this right here, I'm gonna glue this down too. I'm just letting you know what I'm doing and how I'm doing all this stuff, because this is what was on there. This stuff was just ugly and hideous, and the guy that had it on there, this stuff came in like 16 by 16 tiles. And and instead of making it all like one pattern, all facing one way, it would have looked cool because it would have looked like a wood grain. He ended up doing this to every other one and made it look like a checkerboard. It was hideous. Oh my God. And so now we got all of this cut up and ready to go. I got to sweep all of this out. I've had to sand and make that more flush, and I probably do a little bit more right there. And let you know what that is right there. Basically, you could get this roll of stuff at packaging store, Walmart's, whatever, Home Depot probably, and it's about $13 a roll for 30 foot by whatever this is, I don't know, 30 inches. And so I just rolled it out and I glued it down with the tile glue, and it says not to glue it down onto the subfloor, but this project needs it because, first of all, I don't have a groove in here, and I'm not going to go and cut all that. I'm going to just glue it right down to here, and it shouldn't mess with that and come up anymore. And all this is going to get glued down here in the splice all the way through here. So this right here coming up a little bit right here, I'm going to put some glue up underneath there, keep all of that nice and down and flush, and then same thing over here on this end. I'll put some more glue, and then I'll roll this right here. This will go down underneath, and I'll roll this all the way across, and I'll glue that down too with the tile glue. Doesn't take much tile glue, just, you know, here or there on the edges. I'm not making it permanent, because if it ever needs to be pulled out and replaced, you know, I don't want to make it a total nightmare for whoever has to do it. And, you know, I hope this gives you some ideas. Don't get too frustrated when it comes to having to line up all of these different cuts and having to do all this other stuff. I did all that on the table saw. And I hope that gives you some ideas on how to do your laminate floor and how to do this custom cut here. I don't know what else to say. I can show you how I set up the table saw. Just do that, because that's pretty easy, quick setup. And if you don't do it, then things can become frustrated. You don't want to get frustrated. So we'll get like a small piece or whatever, and it's like a scrap piece, and then take you over there to the table saw and try to set that up real quick. And we'll go through a little bit of a walk. Let's see what's okay. So get your table saw and have it all set up. think it might be better if I just do it from right here view. I don't think that light from in the here. Yeah, we'll just do it like that. Okay, anyway, so there's that. Basically, you're just gonna come in and get your table saw, and so you want this groove right here on the bottom, and that's gonna be for for when you have a board that's right here and you want to go underneath there and butt up with that one. And then the same thing is opposite if you want to do the groove for the top. And if you really want to get all fancy, you can get that same groove doing the same old thing. Just gotta take another step and get it done. And you don't need a blade or a second blade that goes all weeble wobble to get this done. Just, you know, loosen the table. Down here, I think. And just bring the table up to where it needs to be, and you'll see a drop, you know, and hit. Let me see, I could just get you a little bit more so you could see what I'm talking about. Just bring that table up to where it needs to be. And lock it down. Lock it down. And then for the guard, just put the guard on and just go to hit the blade and bump that up where it needs to be and secure that in place. And that's all you gotta do. And then you just cut along, and actually it looks like it needs to be what was there? Now you lock it in place. There we go. So go and do your first run, make it all nice and smooth and straight. Boom. Do it a couple times. And then when you're done, come to the edge and get the edge. And then once you get to the edge, you know, you just kind of skew it and pull it out of skew. And pull it back on another skew, and pretty much it'll all be cleaned up. And that's how you do that. And that gave you some ideas. Well, I'm not going to ramble on too much longer about that, but I hope that gave you all some ideas on what to do with this vinyl stuff. It tells you not to glue it down, but in some applications you're just going to have to glue it down in order for it to stay. I've been walking on this board in that spot for the last couple of days after having it all fitted and stuff, and it really doesn't move around, but it's not gonna be nice and secure unless you glue it down in a small mobile home like this, because your mobile home's always moving, the floor's always doing this. If it was on a cement permanent floor foundation, then that works out great. But when it comes to doing your mobile homes, I would say just go ahead and glue it down, and if you don't want to use a lot of glue, then just put a little bit of glue on the edges, and make sure you glue the seams, and make sure that they're flat and nice and neat, and make sure they all groove in there nice and neat. I did one where I made a mistake, and it has like this little, maybe less than a 32nd of a groove that popped up on one side, but it went back down on the other side, and it kind of a little funky, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it. And, you know, just try to get it to be as nice as it is. I've been working on this property for the last, I think I've been here 8 years or so. And I should have it paid off in the next 5 years. And I will probably either be renting it out or getting into another property so that I can start renting those ones out. And at least in the next 5 years, my money will be freed up, and I will have everything that I invested in this property. Either I could flip this property and sell it. I paid $35 for it. I think now at this point it's worth at least $65, maybe close to $70, especially with the iron shop that I put in there and all that other lovely stuff. I'm not going to rant and rave, but it's better to get into something, even if it's a rent to own, than just a rent. Because if you think about it, if you rented something for a whole year, and you stopped paying and you go into something else, you lost a whole year's worth of that money went to somebody else. But if you're in a rent to own and you make the contract correct and you do everything right, at the end of the year, to say you were in the military or you want to go somewhere else, you're like, hey, fuck it, I don't want to be here no more. At that end of the year, instead of losing your money, you put an advertisement for the same thing as a rent to own, and you make another contract with that person. They don't need to know about you as a rent to own owner. You just tell them you inherited the problem. They don't need to know nothing. You know, you're gonna take care of your bill on your end. You know, as long as you know you have the money and you're gonna finish paying it off, and you could do that, or you could just lie to them and hope for the best and expect the worst and just be dishonest. Or you could be honest with them and you could tell them you're in the rent to own, but you're the contract, they can't get it, and now they're gonna rent through you. So you could do, you know, however you do you. I like to be honest. I like to let people know exactly what's going on, because all they have to do is look up the history through the tax, and they're going to find out everything that's going on. So just better to be honest and do honest business and make everything right. So with that in mind, just make sure that you do everything right and just don't do shady shit, especially when it comes to real estate, because it's not like buying and selling cars where you could just get in and out and be like it was as is. You can, but in real estate you got to understand those are going to be people's homes eventually, and what kind of person are you if that's the type of services that you're providing out there. This is Master Seiss, and I hope you all learned a little bit of something on how to flipping houses. And it doesn't have to be something like a job or something that you got to go out and do. It's just something that's got to be a part of your life, and just make it done. And when you think about it that way, you'll understand that it's easy to get in and out of real estate contracts and do as much as you want. I'm excited to get into my next real estate contract, and if it's going to happen in the next 5 years or less, because either I'm going to pay this off in 5 years and I'm going to go into another one, or I'm going to get into another one before I finish paying this one off. Or I'm going to get ready to pay this one off, getting ready to get into another. Either way, vice versa, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, this is Master Seiss. Peace out. Hope that helped.